Welcome to No Clue Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Okay, welcome. um, it's been a while, but the best time of the year is here. NBA season is back finally. Uh, first couple of games have went by, but first we want to talk about WNBA champions, the New York Liberty. Probably one of the best final series I've ever seen in any sport in the history of sports. Uh, and the Liberty pulled it out. What'd you think?
I thought Liberty handled the pressure really well,
Mm-hmm.
because they beat the rival in the conference finals.
Yeah.
They started the series off kind of slow, and even the last game not really playing well. Like they found a way every time.
Mm-hmm.
They they also, I thought, were tested. I mean, I was high on Minnesota as soon as I saw them, but
Yeah.
they beat the best team I saw in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Minnesota gave them everything they could handle. They were physical. I mean, the games, especially the last couple games, were just crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, but I thought Liberty just really proved a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. They every game being really close shows how, evenly matched they were in a lot of ways. But the star power on the Liberty, the experience on the Liberty, um, they definitely they got it done at the end. Even when some of their best players really didn't play that great. Worse than not that great. They played bad.
Oh yeah, horrible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the parade was pretty funny. Did you see any of the parade?
No,
Yeah, um, Stewie and John Quell were pretty funny in the parade. Um,
it's good. Minnesota's now kind of in the Liberty's shoes to where, not for the same reason, but it's like
mhm,
they're kind of on the cusp
yeah,
to where they should be a favorite coming back next year.
yeah, and plus, the Liberty basically brought. I mean, they only had like one new player this year, and the Lynx from last year only McBride and Collier really returned from last year. Everyone else was new. Courtney Williams is her first time there. Alana Smith, this was her first year there. Who was the other starter they had? Heidemann came off the bench. This was her first year there. They just traded for Heinz Allen off the bench. So like this is a really new
Yeah.
constructed team. So I mean, and the chemistry was good, but after a year and after this situation, I'm sure the chemistry would get even better.
The leadership from the returning players is even more impressive. Like that they made a run this good,
Yeah,
considering how the team changed.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, but the Liberty, they should be good for a while if they stay together, which they most likely will. They'll have another really, really, really good chance next year. Bridget Carlton was the other starter. She was there last year, so she returned, and I don't think anyone else that played was on the team
Yeah,
last
that's
year. Yeah,
like 60% of the rotation is new.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that
And
speaks,
Uhas
yeah,
was there last year, but she was hurt for most of the year.
mm,
So
speaks to the coaching too.
yeah, 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 yeah. That the plug and play, she can do it, and you know their system is really strong. That
Hmm.
they can just add in people and it doesn't really
Yeah,
hurt it. It actually makes it better. Um, okay, NBA. Let's get right to it. First thoughts.
I can't help it, bro. I can't. I don't want this to be the first topic, but it started the season off on such a sour note,
What is it?
and it's Philly and Embiid.
Okay, let's do it.
Like, I can't comprehend. Maybe I'm missing something. I thought the inside crew had a great conversation about it. I think it was their first Wednesday or Tuesday, maybe.
Hmm.
But
Tuesday.
Ernie had the fire line of like it went from trust the process to blame the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like I'm dumbfounded. What plan could you have that a guy goes from beginning of August he's healthy enough to play basketball, and a
Yeah.
month and a half later he's not,
Yeah.
according to you, without injury.
Yeah. Apparently. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the injury they're saying is. Let me see. Let me check.
From what I heard, it's specifically that he's not hurt.
But he's just resting the first 2 games of the season.
From what I saw, I think it was Maury. He was talking about it was like I can't remember the exact quote, but something along the lines of like according to the plan, based off of like how the doctors analyzed him, like we felt he wasn't ready. It's like,
yeah, that's crazy,
dude. You're just saying in a fancy way he's not in shape to play.
Yeah, and they do have it listed as a knee issue. Yeah.
I mean, there's already an investigation, so I'm holding out the results of that to really form a strong opinion. But I just can't understand what kind of plan could you have that a guy regresses health-wise, like without playing?
It's such a weird it's such a weird time to do that. Like the first 2 games of the season,
Exactly.
resting his knee. Like if this was game 36, 37, around the 40s, I could understand like, hey, he's going to miss this next week because he's just not feeling it. But starting the year out this way is really, really, really wild.
You're like setting the precedent for like we're scared of him getting hurt. Like,
yeah.
That's basically what your plan is. Like we're trying to avoid injury as much as possible in every capacity.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating to me because I was excited to see them play.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and then Paul George having his hyperextended knee.
Right. I mean that's like a basketball thing. Like Kawhi is also out. I'm not sad about that. I expected that.
Yeah, and I mean the difference was we saw Paul George's injury happen. Like those other 2 guys, we just whatever.
It's like so
Paul
bizarre.
George,
it's so bizarre that the team is throwing itself and Embiid under the bus.
Yeah, so like I wonder if Embiid is he waiting to play with Paul George? Like he's not playing until Paul George is ready to play?
It doesn't. I don't understand. There's no logic outside of he's out of shape.
Yeah.
Which at that point, like this is why the first time he talks, I hope reporters press him about this.
Yeah, they should.
And the longer we wait, the more they're going to press him. Because, I mean, at this point, everybody's curious, like, what's going on?
Yeah, especially this year. This year is going to be really competitive coming down to the playoffs. So, like, throwing away your first 4 or 5 games is just like, this is not really a smart thing. The
league is so young. It's crazy to do that when, like, specifically when you're managing health. To your point, like to double your point, mid-season is when these conversations should happen, or even after like the first month.
So let's say if he doesn't come back this week, right? Let's say he doesn't come back till next week.
They have Indiana minimum 3 games.
3 more?
Like his first 3, he's out.
Oh, okay. So they have Indiana next. They're gonna lose to Indiana without Paul George and Joel Embiid.
So 0-3 already.
Yeah. Detroit, if he comes back, they play Detroit. They probably could beat Detroit with or without him. I think Oubre and Maxey could beat Detroit.
Which, come on, like, are we seriously? We're coming back after this strange absence of your first 3 games being against playoff teams, and all of a sudden you're coming back against Detroit?
See, but this is where it gets dangerous because next week they have Memphis, Phoenix, LA, and then they have Charlotte, but then they have New York and Cleveland.
Charlotte undefeated, by the way.
So, I mean, he has to be back. Memphis, Phoenix, LA, and LA next
Bro,
week.
they're going to start off at the bottom of the conference.
Yeah, because even if he's there, they probably lose those games without Paul George.
Exactly, and with him, I mean, I imagine he's not coming back to play full minutes.
And this just says LA, but it must be Clippers and Lakers because they're both away games, so not going to play the same team back to back, but probably LA and Clippers. They could beat the Clippers without Embiid or Paul George.
Yeah, honestly,
but Paul George probably wants to be there when they return to Clippers.
The only solution to this is literally for Philly to just shut up.
Yeah,
like stop presenting this information nobody even asked for.
Yeah, or I mean, I feel like they've talked about this a few years in a row, but to put him out there and then just limit his minutes. We don't need to miss full games. Let's just say, hey, 25 minutes or less.
I know.
We can do that. We have Drummond, who's a good enough guy to not have to play Embiid 45 minutes a night.
It's almost like childish to assume that playing him less is like increasing or decreasing his chance of getting hurt. I mean, Paul George, that Paul George play is kind of what happened to him last year.
Yeah.
So, like, freak stuff is going to happen. I just don't understand. And nobody understands. Everybody's been looking at this that I've seen talk about this, that I've talked to about this. It's like this is bizarre.
And they're investigating it, but I don't really see what the benefit is. Like, what do they gain by
expose
losing
them
the
further?
No, I mean, like, I guess they're investigating it because there's some like wrongdoing, but what is the wrongdoing? Like, what are they doing that's helping? Like, they're not
so insane. Like, the only thing that makes logical sense is that he's not in shape to play. Any other explanation that I can even think about doesn't make any sense to me.
But I wonder why they don't just say that. Because if they said that, what would be the big deal there?
I mean, you'd make him look bad. You kind of throw him under the bus. Because then it's like, what the fuck were you doing the last month and a half?
And that's really all it was. He just played in the Olympics. So.
A month and a half, bro. He wasn't even playing. Like, we didn't see him in pickup. I know they're not letting him like go to fucking Rico Hines runs.
Yeah.
If he's not even like playing in the preseason, so it's so bizarre. The more Philly talks, the more questions we have.
Yeah. And he said he's not going to play back-to-backs for the whole season.
Like, why are you presenting it already?
I know. I don't know why that's something that I would just keep on the low.
Who's ever said that in advance other than Kawhi, that I'm not playing back-to-backs?
Yeah, they could just surprise us. Like, they're back-to-back in a row. Embiid hasn't played the second game. Oh, no. Okay.
They're like,
let us figure the puzzle out later.
It's so insane. They're trying to be transparent, and they're doing it like the opposite.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure next episode, because in about a week or two, he's got to be on the court. I mean, could you imagine us coming back here in 2 weeks? He's still not playing. My head might explode.
In that week where they play LA twice and Phoenix, if he's not playing in that week, then I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Phoenix should be.
I don't know what to say about him for the year.
25 minutes, he could get MVP stats against Phoenix in that time.
Yeah.
So again, coming back against Detroit is kind of sus to me. But to your point, like, even that line of thinking makes no sense because you got tough games after that.
Right.
Which it shouldn't even be a feasible line of thinking, but I don't know how else to think about it.
Right. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. It is
I hope so.
A little disturbing, but hopefully something make sense soon from
I'm
that camp.
hoping sooner rather than later we will talk PG and Embiid basketball and
Yeah.
how good or bad it looks.
Yeah.
I'm not watching Maxey by himself.
Me either. Never.
It's just like
it's past
years, they've had like some good potential playing without Embiid.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Right. What was your biggest takeaway so far?
Just from the first like 3-4 days of the season?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of jumpers, you know. I can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I haven't watched, taking the break from the league is kind of made me forget how much shooting has become prioritized.
Celtics come out the box breaking the 3-point record.
And Boston, I told you after the game, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Like Boston didn't address any of the play style issues through the playoffs, which they didn't need to.
Right.
But they're like just doubling down on what they did last year, which is it's disappointing because it's going to be so boring to watch them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so difficult like last year to like analyze them and see any sort of improvements or problems.
Yeah.
But but to Boston's credit, like their continuity is showing.
Mm-hmm.
Their experience is showing. And just they're also a clear two-way team.
Yeah.
Like you start to watch these first couple games, you really like you turn on random games, and some of these teams are just like it's going to take them a week to even start defending.
Yeah.
Help side defense like non-existent. Containing dribble penetration not happening. We're getting in these 130, 140 shootouts right away and see what we could do. But Boston guards, Boston takes a lot of shots, but they also get back. They play defense. They match up. They got guys who are committed to getting stops. Like they have basic continuity things that make it easy for them to win games.
Yeah, they do.
So to me, like if Boston is a minimum 65 win team this year.
Yeah, I think that's very feasible for them.
Maybe possible. Health slows them down, but beyond that, I just can't really picture them losing a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this year, the regular season is going to be a lot of guys that we really don't expect to be playing well. Like so far, at least, I'm noticing some teams going really deep into their bench, and those guys having some like really, really good games. Like Ty Jerome is like cooking for Cleveland this year.
Yeah,
and he's someone. I mean, I guess Atkinson had him in Golden State. I think they cross paths there. Now Atkinson is in Cleveland, and he's been like going crazy. At least, I mean, out of nowhere. Atlanta has some guys playing really well that I wasn't expecting to play well. Toronto has some guys where their roster is like kind of looks pretty good. Like they're just missing someone really, really, really talented and some injuries, of course. But some of these teams are going really deep in their rosters really early. Almost like it seems like this is almost like an extension of the preseason, these first 2-3 games for these teams.
I'll tell you, there's one team that's doing that and it's working extremely well if that's what they're doing. Golden State.
Yeah.
Golden State looks as dynamic as ever. I mean, Buddy Hield, perfect fit, obviously. I didn't think he'd be shooting lights out, but obvious perfect fit.
Is year 2 of you hating on Buddy already? You didn't think he'd be shooting lights out?
He's averaging like 20 with the second unit.
Yeah, but the other teams just don't pass him the ball.
That's a good point. You're right.
Golden State passes it to him. They know how to get him open.
And that's the thing. You got a rotation of good guards, like smart guards, two-way guards. Like
Yes.
along with Steph, everybody else is young now.
This is what I was gonna say. By the way, for those wondering where we've been, our last pod was like during the hurricane, so it got
Technical
completely
issues.
destroyed. Yeah, yeah. But I was gonna tell you, Golden State, of all the teams that like really fixed like a major flaw they had the year before, Golden State fixed their turnover issue by getting ball handlers and
Yes.
good passers.
Yes.
They pick up Kyle Anderson, who's played point guard for the first 15 years of his basketball career until he grew to 6'9". But he's a great passer, a good decision maker, a smart player. They get DeAnthony Melton, a pure combo guard who's also played point guard for most of his career too. They get Buddy Hield, who makes good decisions. I mean, Buddy has never been like a turnover prone guy.
And he
He's
passes
always a plus.
fast. Like he'll
He
move if he
does.
doesn't have a shot, he's moving it immediately.
Yes. And then Pajemski looks like he's cleaned up a lot of his
Yes.
rookie
He looked good last
decision
year to
making.
me.
He did. He absolutely did. And he looks even better this year.
Mm-hmm.
They just got guys that do not turn the ball over, good passers, good shot makers, guys who can score from like all different places on the floor. Great pickups for them. They look really, really, really good. Draymond looks like he's really motivated this year too.
Yes. And see, Golden State is going to be a team, I don't know how much we'll touch on teams that aren't interesting, but Golden State is a team that's going to be must watch all year.
Yeah.
Because now they're playing where we really evaluate the young guys to see how much depth they're going to have going into the playoffs.
Yeah, this is the first time in a few years they haven't really had to rely on them, but that they're still a major plus. Like, okay, Kuminga, you're not doing what we need you to do. Okay, Kyle Anderson, get out there. Or DeAnthony Melton can do everything Pajemski can do, and better, and probably a better defender. So they kind of can. They don't need Pajemski to play 48 minutes. They have DeAnthony Melton that could take even more of his minutes. The majority of the minutes if he has to. And I mean Wiggins looks really good already.
And it needs to be said because it's kind of hard to pinpoint where the credit deserves to be. I think with Golden State, Steph Curry is the best leader in basketball. Like,
I agree. Yeah,
no question.
Yeah,
just from like a pure his game is in like people want to play with him. People are motivated to play with him. He gets like the most effort and commitment from guys.
Mm-hmm.
And their ball movement and how like impeccable it is stems from how unselfish he is.
Yeah.
Like he's pulled away so clearly as the best leader in the game of basketball. Like it's not even close.
And he really wants the other guys to shine. Yes. Like I think he's someone who's very aware of his limitations as far as, he can't win the games by himself. So he does make the extra pass. If Buddy Hield has 5 threes, he's swinging it so Buddy can get his 6th 3. Like he's not one of those guys like, oh, I can get a better shot. He's who's hot, who's feeling it, who has a mismatch. He finds it. He just plays good basketball. It's not a lot of overthinking in his game when it comes to his team basketball. And I do think that's an extension of Kerr. Maybe Kerr and Steph are just a match made in heaven when it comes to that mentality. But they have taken it to another level. It's really nice to see. Shout out to Terry Stotts, lead assistant for them now.
Yeah, man, they look great, and they're just like you feel the potential for improvement watching them.
Yeah.
So they're dangerous right away.
They are. Minnesota and the Knicks. The blockbuster trade that was made.
Yes.
I'm kind of giving them. I want to give both those teams a good 15 games before I give like any analysis on what the team looks like after the trade. But so far it's interesting.
I will say way too early impressions. I'm liking Cat on the Knicks more.
Uh-huh.
Just like how it looks early on.
Yeah.
It's like more so just looking at the potential.
Right.
But with Minnesota, like the way they've played offense has been an issue for them.
Yeah.
So to your point, we have to wait to see how much credit or blame Randall deserves. You know what I
And
mean?
it's also kind of a cheat because Cat has played for Tibbs before,
Exactly.
and this is the first time Chris Finch has seen Julius Randle like this. So or had a Julius Randle even type player. So I expected Cat to still look good. Maybe the Knicks not look good, but Cat to look good in the beginning. But the Timberwolves definitely have a lot more ground to cover when it comes to that. And plus, Cat has been on the Timberwolves his whole career, so no one on the team has ever played with anyone has ever played there without Cat. And
Yeah.
the Knicks have that difference as well. So,
but this is going to be around like the holiday time. We're going to get a really good idea of like how they're going to impact the team.
yeah, in season tournament around that is when I'm gonna really be able to say something in depth about them. Let's see who else has caught my eye. Dallas looks nice. You mentioned that off air.
They're similar to Boston, a little jump shooty.
Yeah.
But
Jump
Clay
shots
looked
and
good.
lobs.
Clay looked good, and they control the shot selection, so it's not as random as Boston, I would say.
Yeah.
It's a little more like by design, but I like what I saw from them too.
Yeah. I haven't been able to catch Memphis yet.
Me neither.
But they're a team I definitely want to see pretty soon. Good win for Houston beating them.
Yeah, I missed that. Houston and Memphis are two teams I really want to see that I haven't yet.
Yeah, Smart is back. Ja is back. I mean, Jaren Jackson isn't back yet, but other than Jaren Jackson,
Clark back? I haven't seen them at all.
Is who?
Is Brandon Clark back?
No. I think he went back out. Something happened. Let me see.
He's like a massive second unit chemistry guy for them.
He is.
Very underrated.
He is. Yeah, he's not back yet. Oh no, he is back. He is back. Limited minutes though.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, seeing them at full health, another team like definitely got to keep an eye on them.
Yep.
And Houston's similar for just what they did last year.
Yeah, Houston, their team just looks so good on paper. I mean, it's young.
I'll get it out the way. Yeah, Houston's roster looks really nice.
Yeah.
But I got to get it out the way. Phoenix is a waste of time this year. My God. Like watching Phoenix basketball this year.
A waste of time?
Is a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
And
the Lakers came back from 22 to beat them?
Easily, bro. It was such a boring game. And like it was frustrating to listen to Richard Jefferson completely understand why Phoenix isn't that good and pretend like they're fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a vacuum,
like
the addition of Tyus Jones is exactly what they need.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't let him do anything. They don't let him like really truly impact the game.
Yeah.
So Phoenix hasn't changed at all.
And he's good, but he's not someone that like, as good as he is, most nights they're going to be playing against a better point guard. And that's no disrespect to him, but in the West, they have Tyus Jones. Memphis has Ja. Dallas has 2 point guards better. OKC has one better. Golden State, LA. D'Angelo and Tyus might be close now. New Orleans has DeJounte Murray. Um, Minnesota, maybe Conley and him are close.
Dallas is
Sacramento
Luka.
Sacramento has Fox. Denver has 2 point guards just as good or better. So it's tough. I mean, it's a nice pickup, but like you said, it really is in a vacuum because it does seems like he would do exactly what they need, but at the same time, you know, they're still at a disadvantage for most nights, especially if they're not actually going to let him cook. 8 shots. He doesn't even get 10 shots off.
It's tough that like they were moving the ball well, and then KD and Book just killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Jefferson's watching the game, pretending like it's not the two of them that killed it. like oh, Phoenix got to get back to the ball movement from the first quarter and like the first half. Like RJ, please let's really analyze why the ball is not moving, because I promise you, Royce O'Neal is not holding the ball.
Yeah.
Nurkic is, to his credit, isn't holding the ball. Like even Beal is making decisive moves.
And Beal still is a really good passer, really good ball mover.
That's probably, if I had to give Phoenix something positive, Beal looks healthy, like really good, really healthy.
He does.
Really athletic.
Beal made a career mistake going to Phoenix.
Bro, it's so bad.
When I was watching.
Go ahead.
When I was watching Toronto play the other night, not the Philly game, I think the game before that. I was like, why did Durant not come to this team? Like, why did Beal not want to come to this team? I know Durant didn't because they wanted the Scotty Barnes thing, and that wasn't going to work. But I'm like, Beal, this is the team you should have went to. This team is primed for someone like Bradley Beal to step in and be the guy, and they would be a playoff team instantly. Like, they have all the pieces, they just don't have a star. But they go to this team and they're going to get demolished again in the playoffs, and they're going to look gross all season long, and no one is actually going to be able to play their best.
Cool. It's just like
Booker's going to get all the love.
Who wants to play with a guy exactly like them? Like if our game was identical, I wouldn't want to play with you.
Yeah. Right.
KD, Book, and Beal are like taking each other's game. There's no like diversity. There's no role assignment. There's no like
None.
1, 2, 3 shot distribution. It's all 1A, 1B, 1C. Like, guys, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't. It's never worked like that. Ever.
Bro, they're the first trio where it's not enough basketballs. Like, that's literally. Like, that's been a joke with other, like, D-Wade and LeBron. You can make that joke. With other team-ups, you can make the joke. Literally, guys, we can't just come down and, like, hezzy pull-up teams.
They're like when Brandon Jennings and Monte Ellis were together.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
But with 3 of them instead.
Exactly. It's so strange.
Yeah.
And Richard Jefferson sitting there talking about how because they got Tyus Jones and Mason Plumlee, they're a complete team? A complete team? RJ, you can't be serious.
And both of them are clear backups on any other team. Good backups, but clear backups. I mean, Plumlee's a backup on this team, but barely, because everyone knows Nurkic is going to get hurt this year. He gets hurt every year.
Oh, dude. It's just like, it's not so much that Phoenix sucks. It's that their potential is non-existent.
Nurkic and Plumlee got almost the exact same amount of minutes in that last game. 18.
What makes it even more worse to RJ's commentary is that like JJ is actually making the Lakers a good team.
Yeah, he is. He's figuring something out.
Which we could get into in a second, but it's like, RJ, you're just cracking jokes at your friend's expense who's actually cooking as a coach. And you're crediting Mike Budenholzer, who's done nothing.
He's done nothing. And
like, bro,
and
they passed in the first quarter, and they're sitting there like, oh, these guys really committed to Mike Budenholzer's play style. What? What are you
And I,
saying?
and I don't want to even blame Budenholzer for it because I just don't think anyone can
No,
change these
it's
guys.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
stuck in their ways, and it's too late.
yeah. The trade they're gonna have to do the really gross or like a trade they really don't want to do to try to balance it out. But I don't know. I would be kind of disappointed if this full season goes and the team's the same team.
Oh my god, it's just an embarrassment. Like those guys are going to be irrelevant.
It's a waste of definitely Bradley's year and Durant's age. Durant's getting old. It's a waste of his time.
Yeah,
Booker's the only one who probably it wouldn't hurt him that much because he's really not that much of a winning player anyway, at least to me. But the Bradley could be on another team doing more, and Durant could be actually trying to win a championship. But because it's not gonna happen on this team.
that's why it's like so. It's not even worth talking about. Like this will be our probably only breakdown of them this year.
It'll be mine. I know
You
that.
know, yeah, we'll talk about them. Whoever they get in the playoffs. I mean, honestly, they don't even look like a playoff team.
No, they don't. They don't.
To the point we made with Boston, like it's or maybe New York, but like the league is so young.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just going to go out there and outshoot these young teams who are, if they're built for anything, it's that.
Right.
And KD and the big three in Phoenix seems to like not care about winning basketball. At least that's what I see.
I agree. I don't know what they care about, but I wish they could like tell
Shot
somebody.
attempts.
They just care about shot attempts.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So LA,
Yes.
they look good.
Very good.
I I think that LA this year, what I'm noticing is the amount of guys that touch the ball now is like at an all-time high for the LeBron and AD after the championship. Since the championship, which is what, 18?
The
19?
bubble 20.
Oh, 20. Oh, that's right. It was the bubble championship 20.
Yeah.
So since 20, they've had a really hard time getting anyone else the ball in like a good scoring position. Even with Westbrook and Pat Bev and all the other iterations they've had and all the different big men they've cycled through, Drummond, Dwight, Gasol, all that stuff. Since then, they got younger, but then they just stopped passing everybody the ball. It felt like to me. Jackson Hayes wasn't touching the ball. Now Jackson Hayes is getting like 3 dunks a game, 2 dunk looks a game. They didn't really know how to integrate a lot of their young guys other than Austin Reeves. But even with Austin Reeves, they just kind of gave him the ball and tried to get him to ISO, which really isn't his game, at least not without a mismatch. Now they got him kind of being a combo guard, which is working really well because he shoots well enough that he draws the defense, but he also is kind of like he draws help well. So then you have good screeners, AD, Rui, again, Jackson Hayes, he's getting open. D'Angelo's getting open. LeBron's making good decisions as usual. And then they even got Gabe Vincent finally shooting pretty well. And then they got Dalton Connect, who's just lights out.
See, Dalton Connect brings up a whole separate point that I want to get to.
Yeah.
But the Lakers, because it's obviously 2 games, so a lot of the praise is to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But the only real credit here is JJ Redick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come in from day one with Mamba mentality.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I like just his intensity has been almost like too much at times. I mean, you've seen it with some of the reporter like interviews where he's like taking questions that aren't the best and like just completely trashing the people for that, Yeah. I don't know if that's a little too far.
Yeah,
Like
and
the
I think he needs to
Lakers,
build a little credibility before he
yeah.
does that too often.
But to everything you said, like the Lakers are immediately establishing an identity.
Hmm.
The biggest thing to me is like there's finally no question we're playing through Anthony Davis.
Hmm.
Like no doubt we are an inside out team. They've probably been one of the few teams who hasn't shot a lot of threes because there's like a real
Yeah,
dedication to play inside out.
yeah.
And I just think it's
They,
the players
they've
around have
simplified what they're doing.
exactly. The rotation is clean.
Yeah,
The role players understand what they're in the game for. Like there's clear direction,
yeah,
even with the young players, with Connect, with Bronny. Like, I mean, they just announced he's going to be in the G League. Like that should have been an immediate announcement, but here we are.
yeah,
They're doing all the basketball things that make sense.
yeah. And Reddish is out for personal reasons, but he's coming back too.
Yeah.
They when I say they simplified it, even when JJ did the Laker games last year as a commentator, he he mentioned sometimes how much like how they're overthinking things, maybe overpassing, they're missing guys are taking shots they shouldn't be taking, and not just Laker games, but a lot of other games. Um, and you can see clearly now that, like you said, they know, hey, we're playing through AD. These guys have these roles. Connect. You come in. I just want you to shoot. I don't want you to do a whole lot of other stuff.
Yes.
Reeves, I want you to look for guys. I don't need you trying to take all NBA defenders off the dribble like you did last year.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that.
Dude,
This is
he's
not your
spamming
game.
pick and rolls with AD all the time. I love it.
Yes, yes, yes. They're doing a nice that little handoff. It's like a handoff slip play that they do
Yeah.
that looks really, really nice, and it's working. LeBron's kind of a screener, but also
Hmm.
he catches it like in the middle and can make a decision. It's just very simple. Like everyone knows when they play like how someone would play 2K with the
Yeah.
Lakers. Hey, give LeBron the ball, give AD the ball down low. Everyone get out the way for shots, set pick and rolls, and get guys open. Like it's just it looks like very simple basketball, and they're doing it with high level players. So it's going to be successful. It's going to
I
be
will
really
say,
successful.
I think maybe we underestimated LeBron and JJ's like connection as people
Hmm.
because beyond just like the previous people that have come in to coach LeBron, at times there's been like like LeBron respects so and so, but it's still just like from what they did in their basketball resume, not like a personal respect.
Mm-hmm.
And here, again, we'll see how much of it is like JJ, how much is maybe some other things, but clearly LeBron has bought in more than he ever has.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
showing like it's just so easily like now JJ is everybody's locked in.
Yeah, and I think that when you play against someone, you kind of have a better feel of what makes them successful or what
Yeah.
they like. And maybe JJ has a good feel for what LeBron likes and is more open to collaborating than trying to put a system around LeBron that like LeBron has never seen. Like I'm about to unlock LeBron, who already has the NBA's all-time scoring record. I think JJ is like, I don't need to unlock anything. I just need to let LeBron have fun playing basketball, and that's kind of what it looks like. They look like they're having fun. The Lakers look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
And
I will
that's when
say it's looked
historically the Lakers are the best.
similar to the respect he had for Ty Lue, where
Hmm.
it's like Ty Lue can criticize him.
Yeah, he
This
can.
is kind of the same thing where like because LeBron is completely bought into JJ, this team should be successful. And they're starting off really well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. A couple quick hits in the East. Um, I like how Orlando looks. Orlando is just like this swarming scrappiness. where like everybody does any team. I don't know if any team has more guys nightly involved as Orlando does. Like every time you play Orlando, you're gonna see at least 9 or 10 guys, like, and they're actually gonna be doing stuff. Like they're not in there just to get a blow, give somebody a blow. They're in there to like actually.
Houston is often like that, but
Yeah,
not as
Houston's
much as
often like that
Orlando
too.
yet.
And Houston, they both can only do it because they're both so young. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's one reason why they can do it. But yeah, you play Orlando, you get off the bench, you get Anthony Black, Gary Harris, Cole Anthony, Moritz Wagner, Goga Batatse, and now Howard is playing, and I feel like they're missing. Oh, and Jonathan Isaac is out, so that's not even including Jonathan Isaac, who will start. So they get like a good 9 guys that all go out there and try to score and try to lock you up and try to get steals and pressure you full court and like all that stuff. I don't see a lot of other teams like that, at least that can be successful doing it. So it makes them really interesting to watch. They really can beat anyone on any given night, even with less talent. And they do have a lot of talent, but they're not like top 5 in talent, but they are top 5 in effort.
Yeah, and Orlando is a team that, similar to Golden State, is like you see their potential watching them.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes more interesting to see how they develop over the course of the season. So I'm completely with you. I think Orlando should take an extra step from last year. Like they should make it to the second round. Like that's what they should at minimum aim for.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah. Who else? Who else have I noticed?
I'll give you 2 quick hitters because I wanted to make the draft point.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this first. See if you can maybe help me here. You weren't familiar with the number 1 and number 2 pick, right?
Sarr, I had seen a lot of Sarr, but not Ricochet.
Both guys,
1, but Sarr I saw.
Both guys were like potential picks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Why? Like, honestly, not as a joke.
Like, why? In what way? Like, why draft him? Or
yes.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess the high reward, I guess mid risk. I don't really know if there was a lot of risk for those 2 particular teams, especially the Wizards. I mean, because the Wizards, like, how much worse can they be? So I guess they went for the high reward.
Seeing in that case, Atlanta and DC's first game, I don't really have like an in-depth analysis of the teams.
Yeah.
But it's so jarring to me to see the number 1 and 2 pick out there as like clear cut, like we're throwing him out there to see what he could do. Maybe he'll contribute on offense. Maybe he'll contribute on defense. Like it's a complete mystery why he's out there, but we'll give him some minutes.
This is one problem with getting the unicorns from, all over the place. If you're not ready, like, to know how they're going to fit, it can be a complete disaster. Like, I don't think anyone, at least in those 2 picks, I don't think those teams know how to use either of them or like how they're going to be best used. Like I've heard the comparisons. Yeah, Ricochet looks a little bit like Paul George, or and I mean, and I agree, but he's not Paul George. Like he's not Paul George, not even close. So you can't just go on the team and pretend he's Paul George because he looks like he plays like Paul George at 19. So like,
I just like is the guess here that we're like finding the next Greek freak? Is that what I'm missing? Like, is that the roll of the dice decision that the Atlanta and DC have essentially made?
I don't know if it's Greek freak. Well, I guess so. Yeah.
This is a Greek freak was a bad example because I'm trying to think of it like I'm trying to compare a guy who came in and like best case scenario how it could turn out, right?
I guess they're saying, hey, let's not miss on the next Jokic like so late in the draft, and let's get him now. Because if someone else gets him and they turn out to be the next Jokic, then we missed it. And also, I think in this particular year's case, it was just them not loving the rest of the picks more than it was them loving these guys. Because like,
You know
who
what it
would you
is
have
to me?
picked number one?
What upsets me is that like looking at these picks, it's like the teams were just trying to like give the fans something to like be excited about.
You don't use the first pick of the draft with that though, right?
I mean, but you said unicorns. Like, what about these guys is unicorn like?
Is what is it supposed to be, or what is it? Like,
Yeah, like give me best case scenario for either of these guys.
I told you, the Richard say best case scenario is he's like Paul George by the end of this year.
But it's
He's
what's insane to me is these guys don't dominate overseas. And you're drafting them like they're going to dominate at this level in 3 to 5 years.
I know, and that's the weird part because Luka did dominate. He was
Thank
MVP
you, Luka.
there.
I didn't want to say Luka, but it's if you're going to talk about unicorns, Porzingis, Luka, Jokic, like you have to see them dominate a level of basketball to believe in that.
Yeah.
Now, these two picks, I'm sorry, and I'm hating on these guys. I have no idea how they're going to turn out.
I know it's only 2 games.
You're lying to the fans about picking these guys 1 and 2 like they shouldn't have been the 1 and 2 pick.
I agree.
I'm looking at Dalton Connect, who I watched 5 fucking games, and I was coming on here saying like, yo, he's an obvious top 5 pick. Hello, NBA. Like, he's ready to play in the NBA. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And on a limited role with the Lakers, he's thriving. Like, any of these other situations, he'd play much better.
Yeah.
And yet, we're drafting projects.
Yeah.
If you really deep dive the idea, you'd start to realize, like, you're finessing the fans.
Yeah.
Like, reaching an upside requires good coaching, good system, good teammates, good organization. Are the Wizards any of that shit?
No, neither is Atlanta.
So this is what's insane. You drafted these guys to like develop into great players, and you're gonna do nothing to actually do that the next 2-3 years.
They'll be on another team. Like, it's more similar to Gallinari than it is to Greek Freak. I mean, those are the two. Those are the two sides of the spectrum. They could either be Gallinari or they could be Greek Freak.
Oh my God, that's terrifying to me that we're spending top 3 picks on gambles like this.
Oh, that's what they did with Gallinari. Freaking Knicks.
I understand if these guys are picked 10 and beyond, I don't care.
Yeah.
These guys, this Atlanta guy was picked first in the draft. He spaced the floor the first game. He didn't touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a guy who couldn't dribble.
Do you remember the draft conversation about Edey? That he might fall out of the first round?
Insane.
And he 13-9 his first game.
This is, I think the scouting has gone too far in the look for potential avenue.
Yeah, it has. Absolutely has.
Please, God, can we find guys that are ready?
Because, and this is the danger. This is what I've been saying for the last 3 years on this pod. The college basketball is in serious danger because they don't even respect what they are watching in college basketball anymore. Edey dominated college basketball, and 25 and 13, and then hey, we'll pass on him. 14th pick.
All they talked about with Edey is how limited he should be in the fucking NBA.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Atlanta dude. I'm sorry, I've really never seen him.
Well,
He
ninth
can't
pick.
dribble.
Sorry,
He
Bella.
really can't guard. Why is he even athletic?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they like him a lot. I mean, Edie fell to 9 when he was in the championship game
Dominating.
in college, really single-handedly for
Dominating
that
a
team.
guy he's gonna face in the NBA.
Yeah.
So like you were getting as clear cut of an NBA experience as a guy could get without actually being in the NBA.
Yeah.
And instead, fuck all that, Tyler. You're right. Let's look overseas with delusional eyes over these potential young guys who we really have no idea what they're going to be. We just are excited about what they could be.
Yeah, and we don't even put pressure on them to play college basketball anymore. Like they used to make those guys play college basketball. I mean, just Embiid. Embiid didn't have to play at Kansas. He didn't even play. I mean, he played like 5 games, so he didn't have to play there. But they told him we need to see you at this level, or you're not going to make it.
And he immediately looked like a unicorn. So it's like, all right, I understand
Yeah.
the gamble with a top pick on a guy who looks great.
Yes.
But we're spending top picks on guys who, hey, how about I convince you that he'll look great in years? What?
Mm-hmm.
That to me is like, especially the Wizards, because I'm a DC guy, infuriating. Infuriating to watch a top draft pick who has no fucking idea why he's on the court.
Darko Milicic style?
It's different because Darko came into a made team and couldn't find a role.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't really do basic like role player shit. You suck. Like, this is the problem with the potential. You're thinking about how these 2 picks are going to develop is pure fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if we really want to hate on and blame the team, Trae Young is not letting dude develop at all.
Right.
And anybody in Trae Young's position, why the fuck would you?
Yeah, especially if he's not ready. Like, why would you? Especially if you're as good as Trae Young, there's really no sense in wasting energy, wasting your time, taking it away from you to like lose games because you're trying to get some guy to be who they dream he could be.
Like when you say unicorn, it's got to be like Wembanyama is a unicorn. Porzingis like kind of fits because I don't remember him dominating overseas before coming here.
No.
But it's like there's the eye test. There's like an eye test of, oh my God, he's he's a freak. Like you've never seen a player like him, really.
Yeah, and he had Phil Jackson eye helped get him, so it was a little bit better eyes than Landry Fields in Atlanta.
But this to me, it's now we're picking guys who are just like long athletes.
Yeah.
For what? And it's bizarre to me because Atlanta, like DC, I understand they're just awful. So they like to me, if they're doing what I think they're doing, I kind of understand it.
Mm-hmm.
If Atlanta got Edie, like that's a legitimate. You now have a really good front court, a deep front court with now Capella, who's been injury prone. You have something for that.
Yeah.
Connect is a proven wing who can score. You've struggled to have wings who can score consistently. I can't speak. Your audio cut out? I can't hear you. These top 2 picks, man. It's hard for me to be excited watching Atlanta and Washington. And my expectations for them aren't high.
Right.
But you're like trying to convince me that you're all about developing players. And I've watched you the last 5 years not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just frustrating to me.
If they had gotten Connect, they could have traded Bogdanovich like right away. Like I would
Ugh.
as soon as I drafted Connect, Bogdanovich would be on a plane somewhere
Come
else.
on, Tyler. You're making too much sense. All right. There's only so much room for logic. Okay.
And if Bogdanovich
Potential. All
works at
right.
all for
Think
them,
potential.
yeah, he's the perfect replacement. But I mean, I guess they say we already have him in Bogdanovich, but hopefully his shooting percentage would be better.
Bro, he's the next Paul George. Based
That's
on
a,
fucking what? The
his size
highlights?
and length and shots. I guess I don't know.
Dude,
I don't know, man.
it's hard. I don't know how you get that much potential from a guy who doesn't cook at the level he's at. Like it's weird to me.
And there's no talent in the world to match the NBA talent, like
Yes.
what you play in the NBA. There's nowhere you can play that can truly gear you up for the NBA. I mean, in college is the closest thing. American college basketball is the closest thing, but nowhere else really is.
It's overthinking. That's what it is. Like JJ talked about. I think a lot of these organizations are just overthinking like a quick fix.
Yeah,
And that's not how it works. Or they're trying to like really drag it out, which is gross.
yeah. Let's talk about one more contender real quick. The Milwaukee Bucks, a team we kind of have to talk about a lot, unfortunately. They got spanked by Chicago, who does look really good. I like how Chicago looks, but I really like their pickups, and I love how their starting five looks, even without Middleton. I think Middleton maybe should come off the bench when he comes back, but he still just cannot put a winning formula together. They can't get Dame open. Um, Lopez is still super inconsistent. What do you think about them so far? What do you think about them this season?
I didn't see the Philly game, but I saw some of the Chicago game.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. There's not like a hunger to get better from them.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they think they're good enough and they're like expecting a switch.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, I mean, not only do they not have the coach for that,
I
but
knew that was coming.
they haven't, of course, they haven't shown like any sort of commitment to fix stuff on the court.
Yeah.
As individual players, like I haven't seen Dame try to play defense better. I haven't seen Giannis try to control the pace of the game at all. He's just overwhelming talent all the time.
Yeah.
There's still no like kind of slowing it down, seeing where we could get good shots. I
Yeah.
don't know. Milwaukee is, it seemed like the opposite of the good thing I talked about with teams, how Orlando and Golden State, like I'm excited to see how they get better.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see Milwaukee getting much better.
Yeah, me either. I think they're going to be a really good regular season team, like normal. They're going to win some big games.
Was that stuff about Giannis threatening to leave? Was that rumors after the season?
I think it was. I think it was kind of jokes because it was over his brother, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think that was legit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I doubt
I
it.
don't know, bro. I'll be honest with you. If they had anybody I liked that coach, I'd be a little more positive. But Doc of all people is who you're looking for the fix for a team that hasn't been able to find a fix.
Yeah,
Doc is going to be the guy that gets Brooke Lopez to play inside out. Stop it. Stop it. That's a joke.
yeah,
You saw what Vucevic was doing to them last night? Vucevic.
yeah. Cooking
Oh God, Milwaukee, like it can't
17
be
points.
like this. It can't be like last year. It can't be Dame, Giannis, like just be the best players in the court. Like it's not. We're not winning. That's Phoenix basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to say that, but it often looks like it for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think that there has to be a change somewhere, a switch for Giannis to switch from being like the go-to guy to just a really elite uh role player. Like I think he has to be the maybe turn into the Kawhi at some point, where it's like, hey, we don't need you to have the ball that much, but when you do have it, just get a bucket. But we don't need all the other stuff. We don't need all the other stuff you do necessarily. Like we
I'll
don't
give
need you
you
to have a lot of passes.
a duo comparison that's just starting. That I don't know what their peak will be, but Brunson and Cat.
Hmm.
It's again obviously not the same players, but like the distribution of touches and shots is kind of the perfect scenario for Dame and Giannis,
Hmm.
where Dame should be the go to work, get the needed buckets guy, the obviously the perimeter shots guy, and we have to like utilize Giannis to keep the team versatile.
Yeah.
That's one thing the Knicks did really well last night. Like they utilized Cat's skill set to get
Hmm.
the ball around, to get it inside, get it outside, like get different things.
Yeah.
That's what one thing I never see. Like Giannis is so unstoppably great, and Milwaukee never uses that to do different things.
You don't.
And there's a lot of season, a lot of experience
Hmm.
on this team. So we will watch them, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. Um, I'll save my roster take for next pod. Is there anything else for the NBA we want to talk about here? I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Excited for this season to like really get going, man. I want to see you
Yeah,
guys
me too.
healthy.
Yeah, the good matchups I think do start next week. Where, like I said, that we have Philly in some good matchups if
What were the
they're
teams you
available.
said you needed to see? Let's throw out a couple teams for sure. So next pod, like we really can talk about these teams.
Memphis, I got to see. I need
Houston,
to see I need to see a full Houston game, a full Sacramento game, a full New Orleans game. I'm good on the East. I don't need to see anybody in the East. I mean, I've seen who I wanted to see in the East. I should say I've seen Cleveland, Boston.
I got to
Um,
take a look at Cleveland and Miami. I got to take a look at see what they got going on.
yeah, I haven't seen Miami, but I do. I'm open to seeing them. I haven't seen. I didn't watch the Chicago Milwaukee game, but I do want to see a full Chicago game.
Chicago, they need a little time. They're not a early impressions team to me,
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
but good early signs though.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm good on the East. I've seen everyone on the East basically I want to see.
I
But
want to see. You
Memphis, New
mentioned
Orleans,
Toronto. I really haven't gotten a chance to see Toronto. So
I saw that first Toronto game. I like Toronto. I like them. They're not healthy yet though. Like when RJ comes back and quickly comes back, because they're both hurt.
yeah,
When they're back, they'll probably be more interesting. They got a weird roster, but I like it. It's weird. Like some of these names I've never heard in my life, but you know, it looks cool out there. It looks cool. They got a lot of hard workers.
Toronto. I think like last year was kind of a good year for them.
It was, yeah, it was.
I
It was
felt
a
like
good
they're a little
rebuild
more
year.
competitive. Is Schroeder still there?
No, where is
Where
he?
the hell is he at?
Is he on Brooklyn?
I forgot if that's where he's. Man,
I don't
Brooklyn,
want to see Brooklyn play. I
Brooklyn
haven't
is
seen him, and I don't really care to see.
completely and entirely irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm super straight on
I
yeah, he's
yeah,
there.
I'll watch more DC games before I look out for a Brooklyn game.
Ben Simmons is playing though.
I'll probably catch Brooklyn when they play the Wizards, whenever that is.
That's gonna be a gross game.
Disgusting.
Yeah, yeah, Schroeder, he's there. He's on Brooklyn. Him, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, Cameron
For
Johnson, Dorian
the by the way,
Finney-Smith.
for the NBA nerds, the bad basketball games must watch with commentary. Like the hearing Hearing how miserable the announcers are is like such a perfect inside look at to how good or bad the team is.
It is.
So good.
Brooklyn starts Dorian Finney-Smith at the center now.
Is Claxton
Who's coaching Brooklyn again?
Is Claxton not a starter anymore?
No.
They seriously took Claxton out of the starting lineup?
Yeah. The starters is Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5, Cameron Johnson at the 3, and Ben Simmons at the 4.
I'm a little dumbfounded by taking Claxton out for Cam Thomas. Essentially, that's the change
for Ben.
I mean, yeah, but Thomas was really coming off the bench when they were competent.
And last year, Thomas was starting. The only new person is Ben. Everyone else was there last year.
Damn, I don't remember Cam starting like that.
Towards the end, yeah.
I mean, that's a basketball purgatory right now.
Shake Milton is their 6th man.
Yeah, I'm happy. Look, if Ben Simmons is playing, that's a good thing. So good for him.
Yeah, Bojan Bogdanovic is hurt again for them.
I forgot he went there. What the fuck?
For some reason. Okay, so NFL, we have some major trades, major receiver movement. Which one do you want to start with?
I mean, we got to see the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to see the Bills too, but I missed that game.
I saw the Bills, yeah.
The Jets, you can tell me about the Bills first.
No, you got it. Go ahead. You said the Jets. What about them?
They're just funny to me, man. It's Rodgers' clown show is in full effect.
For me, it's both teams putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
Yeah, that's
so it's yeah, that's gonna make it look cool and look okay, but it's not gonna fix what you got going on, buddy. Both teams. So
I mean, if I had to try to convince the Bills, you could make a case that he's their missing piece. Like Josh Allen is trending in the right direction, and this should help him.
Yes.
Will it? Based on our faith in Josh Allen, I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't really know that team. I don't really know what the problem is. I know that they are missing. They are missing someone like him. So I do think he does help them more because, to your point, he is something they need and could be something that could fix some things for them. But when it comes down to winning the game, it's still going to be the same things.
It's the same thing. It's Josh Allen's play.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, the Bills are decided by Josh Allen's play. And what's funny is the Jets are just as simple. If Aaron Rodgers plays well these last 3 weeks, they win these games. And yet somehow the Jets are trying to convince everyone and themselves that let's look at everything but the quarterback.
Yeah.
So kind of silly to me to maybe Devontae helps, but I mean, he didn't help against the Steelers.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So the third deal.
I don't even want to talk about this.
DeAndre Hopkins, 5-time Pro Bowler, gets traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, who has dealt with major injuries. This is like the season from hell for them. Injury after injury after injury. And it's as soon as guys start playing good, they get injured for them. They're not even going to have Hollywood Brown for this year. They traded for him in the offseason. Looked like it was a perfect match for them. Haven't had him. Rashee Rice has finally emerged. as a number one weapon, and he's hurt. So they did the best they could do and get DeAndre Hopkins, who is an aging star, but still a star, and still has actually been playing pretty well. Not great, but pretty well. So
Bro, a couple weeks ago, the Chiefs had Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster cooking.
yeah,
Having just picked them up.
yes,
So a guy who specializes in getting open,
yes,
what in the unfair shit is this?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look, the Chiefs. I'm sick of the Chiefs playing chess and everybody playing checkers. It's starting to really piss me off.
Yeah, I don't know what people were waiting for him, and why they let the Chiefs
He's
get
a
him.
4th round pick. Like every team that is struggling with receivers, like what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's insanity to me. I mean, the Rams just showed their playoff team getting like 2 guys back. It's like, guys, hello. I mean, the Rams were making moves a lot when they were a Super Bowl team, so I don't know. Maybe they're limited.
yeah.
But like, there's a lot of teams to me that should have been after D-Hop like easily.
I mean, the Eagles have been having injuries too. They could have done it.
Eagles, the whole NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dallas is only CeeDee Lamb. The Giants is the guy got hurt from the first couple games.
Yeah.
You said Eagles with injuries. Washington has injuries too, and other than McLaurin, I don't really know their other guys. Like,
You said Dallas already?
yeah, just CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
So it's
Green Bay
crazy
could
to
have
me that the Chiefs, for a 4th round pick, get to complete a team that's unbeatable right now.
literally.
Like they're completing a team that can't be beat. Like what?
Right.
How is that even fair, Roger? Can we step in? Can we even out the playing field? Like
never that. Never that. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see tomorrow, 425. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting there.
Football, by the way, if you pretend the Chiefs don't exist, is extremely competitive right now. Like a lot of teams struggling, a lot of teams heating up.
And at least the Chiefs games are competitive.
Yes. Chiefs they don't look unstoppable. They just have been unstoppable for so long. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, they're just certified winners. They don't know how else to play.
I mean, Chris Jones is like the defensive player of the year easily right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The rest of the league is pretty much up in the air. The Ravens are really hot right now. The Packers look good. The Texans look good.
Yeah.
The rest of the teams are kind of just in the middle. I mean, Seahawks are kind of hot. They look nice. The Commanders are hot, obviously.
Dude, I couldn't tell you who's coming out the NFC right now. I mean, the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions are like scorching hot, but it almost feels like too good to be true.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, the other day, Jared Goff was like perfect against pressure, which is like the opposite of who he is. Like, the stars are aligning for the Lions. I'm hoping it sticks through the full season, but
Lions and Chiefs,
kind of crazy to watch them right now.
Goff versus Mahomes rematch again.
Yeah,
like the highest scoring game of our lifetime.
And the Lions, I mean, they probably had the best game against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's weird because even though they're really hot and I think they're the best team in the NFC. The teams that, I wouldn't be surprised if a team that I don't think is good could beat them. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks blow them out, in the NFC Championship.
And I was looking at the standings the other day. I didn't even realize the Lions, even though they're probably the best record, they can't lose. Because the Packers are good, the Bears are good, and the Vikings are cooking.
And the Commanders. and the Rams.
There's too much talent right now. There's a lot of teams playing well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you meant just in the NFC North?
Just
Yeah,
in their
they
division.
really can't.
Yeah, like if they
Yeah.
you can't lose 2 in a row and you've been scorching hot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not comfortable at all. So the Chiefs are the only team that's comfortable right now.
Oh yeah,
because the Chargers
chess versus checkers,
yeah.
man, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, what's the Chargers record right now? 3-3. Yeah.
But yeah, bro. I watched that 49ers game. Man, I don't want to say Kyle Shanahan sucks, but coaching against Andy Reid, he looks like he sucks.
Yeah.
Not just this last game. Like the last couple games against Andy Reid, I'm like, Kyle, what the fuck do your 49ers do?
Yeah, and against Spagnuolo, like Purdy just looked scared the whole night, like the whole game. He just looked, like bombarded. He didn't know what to do. Yeah, it was that one to me was actually their most impressive win of the year.
Oh yeah, like the way they dominated the Niners like that. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and they just made the Niners, who's known to be physical and known to be able to handle pressure, they made them look like they can't be physical or handle pressure.
Mahomes is trucking guys. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. After that dude had just like injured 2 guys with his tackles.
It's
the same guy.
Physicality, like leadership.
Yeah.
It goes back to elite leadership.
Yeah. 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 All right. I think that's it for me today. You got anything else you want to touch on?
No, we'll be back. More NBA talk, more football talk. Shout out to the World Series. It's a lot of people excited about baseball right now. 2 iconic franchises.
Walk-off grand slam last night.
Yeah, it was funny to see it during the Laker game. The crowd just could get super hyped regardless of the game.
Yeah, yeah. This is a great World Series, and after the Yankees won, either one would have been amazing. It would have been the battle in New York, or it would have been LA versus New York. 2 capitals of our country basically going at it. So yeah.
Ohtani's like, he's gonna be immortalized if he wins already. First year.
Yeah, he's like the baseball boogeyman right now. Like
Los
nobody.
Angeles GOAT.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He's gonna have a statue. He'll have a statue for sure. Yeah. Statue anywhere he wants in LA. All right. Thanks for listening as always. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon.